Protects my heart.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday, July 25th, 2017, and let's get ready to work. Like I'm climbing the side of the damn. Never mind. It's gonna be a great day, folks. Okay, so what we currently have, frame rate on for some reason, counter. What we have right now is, well, so the idea behind the game, of course, for anyone just joining us, is that it's like chess but on design levels, which doesn't have to be 8x8, and to prevent the queen from just, going across the map and killing everything, it all has to stay within range of a control piece, which in the default 6 units, is the king. So you always have to move the king with the army. And when you have 0 control pieces, that's when you lose battle. Because you can't move, ever, so you lose, right? And now my king's in range of the one knight, but not the other, as you can see from this here. So I can move that, but I can't grab this one to move it, because it's still out of range. But let's move this one here, why not? Now let's move picking up one more. Let's admire the look and feel of the bridge there, the reflections. Thanks, Epic, for making such a great engine. I can move this one now. So now we have them both in king range, and let's watch the material fade in as the aura for out of range disappears because it's my turn. For some reason, lighting keeps on building. I'm not sure if we're it's getting discarded. I'm not sure if I'm keep invalidating it or if it's just not saving anymore because there's a bug. If there's a bug, that could be bad. Thanks, Unreal Engine, for the auto host. So we move into town. There's the fountain that's shooting in random directions, pretty much. And there's the opponent's stuff. As a matter of fact, it might be possible to actually use the knights to go and pick off the rook. And the pawn. Actually, maybe both pawns. I think you could probably get. So it's king range of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you could probably get all three of these with a knight if you want. However, if you do that, you won't be able to get this one. So they'll still have one rook. And you're completely conceding the cathedral. You're completely conceding your own rooks and pawns. And you're also wasting quite a few moves to do that, so. Then you get this guy over here, which has a lot of units. And a nice, beautiful red carpet. And of course, the staple of the level. I'm not sure if staple is the right word, but you get the idea. The waterfall. Okie dokie. So now we go back into Blender. And we figure out what to do about that corner with the castle. Because that's next on our list. Okay. Open. Come on. There we are. Decoration base. What is that here? Okay, decoration base. Let's actually just delete everything here. So let's make all of these visible. We'll do it's not actually deleting them from the assets. Matter of fact, just for the heck of it, let's be careful and do a save as. Base new. Which is a stupid way of doing things, but you know. Okay. So now we gotta go into our into our cross streams level. So we have two 4x4, and then from corners we have, 1, 2, 3, so over 4, not 4, so corner 4 and 4, okay. Goes up about 50 centimeters. You know what? Let's see here. No, it goes past the, yeah, no, it's not. Gotta say, if we make it high enough, we can actually fit the camera underneath it. That shouldn't be a big problem. But now that would be unruly. Make it fit the camera under it. When it's zoomed in, but not when it's zoomed out. That'd be a huge, huge castle. I'm kind of glad that the carpet turned out as it did. It almost looks like it has subsurface, even though it's definitely not subsurface. Because I didn't add a subsurface component to the material, so it's definitely not there. That's gonna be a good day. Okay, I really need to replace the roads as well and make it a bit more optimal for texture size. Instead of just using scaled cubes. Do something like I did here. If I was really smart, I would actually have a a defined texture size as well, so we'd have a uniform light map resolution. Across all models, but that's not a level of detail I'm going to go into for a free demo. Okay. So 4x4, which is 3 meters, so 6 meter by 6 meter, and then have two of them. Have them go up. They're probably a decent amount of size. Maybe 12 meters. Probably want to have to go one above here. Or actually, 3 of them maybe? Talking about the bomb lips. I'm gonna make them look kind of like barbells, I'm thinking. I still want to do something over here. Still want to have a reason for this corner being here. Not for gameplay reasons, of course, but just like a decoration. goofing around now. Okay. So add mesh, cube, add dimensions. So 6 meters by 6 meters by, so it was 3 meters. Did that have anything to do with the piece of perspective play animation? No, I did not, actually. That one, I believe, was all Jim. No, he put that in the piece of perspective Slack without me even knowing, so, well, I mean, until it was done. Looked great. Six meters, not 6 centimeters. So now 1.5 meters would be the size of the bottom there. Okay, was pretty short. What was pretty short? Anyway. So now what do I want to use as the center? Yeah, that's really good. And you don't really want to have them be too long, of course, because, you know. I think I should actually probably have it centered right around here. Here it is. So the 2 pillars, I can put the pivot there, have it go up so I can still grab the pivot without having to go inside. Yeah, I mean, you typically want short bumpers in general. It just gets the point across. It depends on the size of what you're doing, right? Like if you're making a 30-minute, you know, episode of like an anime or whatever, then a minute and a half intro is not too big a deal. However, Red versus Blue, let's say, especially the original ones, the episode length are like 7-8 minutes. You don't want to have a minute and a half of that be, you know, a music video that happens every time. So they had that little doo-doo-doo-doo, and it was like, you know, maybe 5-10 seconds. I can't remember anymore. Yeah, somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds. And that fits the length perfectly, right? Now, obviously, Piece of Perspective Plays is going to be a bit longer than 7 minutes. It was hours long, but still, it serves its purpose to, you know, to do something that short. Now, unless you do something, I mean, if you had some sort of, you know, big long intro for a, you know, hour-long podcast or whatever, and there was some reason to have that long intro, then, like it added something to the episode, then yeah, it's fine to do longer, but yeah. So let's have the pivot be here. So that's in case I need to move this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Five. Before let's do 12 meters and then 13.5 meters and negative 1.5 meters. And which direction is that anyway? Yeah, so 13.5 on negative y and negative 1.5 on that. Okay. I'm doing mental math. So Blunder's using right hand. I'm guessing Unreal's doing left? Yes, Unreal is left-handed, of course. Because why wouldn't it be? Okay. I don't know how this would work out. So let's just keep doing what we're doing, and we'll see what happens in the editor. If we have to move it, we move it, right? So freeze that. Then we're going to use a mirror modifier. Mirror modifier, by the way, not mirror. And then okay, you know what? Let's do this here. So we're gonna go to object mode, add mesh, empty plane axes. We're gonna rotate it. So around X would be 90. Let's do negative 90. Oh, sorry, positive 90. I was right the first time. And then around Z, 45. Negative 45. I was wrong the first time on that one. And let's see if that used as our mirror will work. If not, we'll have to. Bingo. Okay, so that's gonna be 6 meters. We're gonna go to edit mode. We're gonna do inset face, inset 1 meter. Then go up. So that was 2 meters. Let's do 10 meters. And then do extrude up, another 2 meters. And then we're gonna do, there's a couple ways to do this. I'm just gonna do scale. You know what, let's do it here. So scale. Actually, no, let's not do it that way. Let's do this here. That was kind of cool, but not voxelized. So we're then going to grab these 4 edges, subdivide. Then we're going to grab This edge, move it in line with there. 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 Now we have that. Now we just need to grab all 4 of these edges and move them down in line with that. And there we are. It's a bit longer than doing inset face, but that's kind of hard when you're doing inset like outwards. It would be cool if I can demo check it for a little while on piece perspective plays. Yeah, I'm not gonna, put Ryan through that or anything, although I will put a news post up on piece perspective when I do launch it, so. Yeah. Ryan is in no way under any obligation to I don't know why I did that last one. Ryan's under no way any obligation to promote check it in any way. He does though, which is really nice of him. So it's 1 meter. The negative sign matters, folks. Oops, nope. Actually, all I can do is this, that, so. Yeah, that would work. Trying to think of how I'd cut it in. It's like, just pull it. I already have all the edges I need. I should put them in the right angle. The reason I do this without using a merge automatically tool. Actually, I think I screwed up a little bit here. I need to go 3 meters. And then do interpretation. There we are. So I did negative 1.5, but it was left hand, so yeah, or right hand, so I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. But I think I need to spread them out a little bit more. So these go up like that. And I want to have something like a balcony coming off. Add mesh cube. Okay, edit mode. Grab, have this be selected. There we are. Actually, no, let's do, no, let's do that. Let's make it 1 meter, 1 meter, 1 meter. I know it's 1 centimeter, 1 meter. Hit scale. There we are. Edit mode. There. Now I'm trying to think of how I want the top to be faced. Do I want it to kind of go in and then cut in, or do I want it to go flat across like the carpet? Or do I want it to go like the carpet out, then cut, then back? So it could go in and out, like this. Although I have to make jagged here. Or do I want it to kind of cut like this, jagged. Or do I want it to have to come out like this, or, you know. I really need to do some draw call optimization because obviously this is BS. You know, 30 millisecond frames. If I can let the viewer see this, this is 20 frames per second. Normally I can force the viewer to always look in a certain direction, so that's like 100 frames per second, but although it's an editor, so it will be a bit quicker, but well, it's slower in editor, it'll be a bit quicker when it's shipping. The shipping build, yeah, you get the idea. You will win, yes. What will you win there, Mir? So now I need to... You know what? Let's do it like this. Oh, proprietary flash was thwarting him. Don't you have an Android phone at some point? You know what? Instead of doing this and trying to then compensate for that, let's just have it be here. So it won't follow the voxel line, but that's okay because we'll eventually make it follow the voxel line. Can always cut more detail in. What? And now we can visualize better what it'll look like. Hey, Comrade Headclot. Actually, right now I can see two things I can do. Actually, maybe if we come up... So probably be like this for the max zoom. Zoom in like that. So then I could have a guardrail come up here. Like, all these come out.
Living life for the next drop.
Okay then. Okay then. Right. Okay then.
Talk to me honestly. I'm here.
This is actually gonna probably look kind of cool, but yeah. Hi, welcome to the chat. Maybe all I need is the guardrail here, and that should be it. So anyone just joining us, what we're trying to do is try to figure out what will fit in here. And anyone who wants to see it in actual game. Cool. So this is what it's going to look like in actual game with that coming up, that coming up. Pro tip, don't run OBS, VNC, SSH, and a VM at the same time you want to watch me. I think this computer could probably do that. It'd be taxing, but yeah, I think I could do it. Welcome to chat. And once again, watching waterfalls. Aren't they dual quad cores? Oh, okay, maybe it's not the same one you told me about yesterday. Because the one yesterday you said were dual quad core. Different machine? Okay. You have a lot of machines. So in case anyone's wondering, the cubes get hit with an impulse, but the impulse to make them spin isn't always in the center, it's randomized at various points along its box platter. So they can then rotate in different directions. How do I say my Twitch name? This is the same as my actual name. It's Scott Michaud. So kind of like myth, and then show like, you know, TV show. The D is silent. That being said, people have pronounced my name in so many ways. I was gonna say stupid ways, but then I have to describe one stupid way, and I can't because it's too vulgar. But let's just say I did not realize you can make a male anatomy joke out of my last name, but apparently you can, as I was made aware at some point. Yeah, it's fun. Oh, one funny way, actually, it's not a... This one's a G-rated way of saying it. Or a G-rated way of, you know, saying the name. One I get a couple times is McCod, and it's like, I'm not a fish sandwich. I'm actually wondering why the lighting is a bit different on this side of the map. Watch sheet waterfalls. So yeah, it's this level is for competitive play, typically designed for. So this is a 6 o'clock spawn, and the 3 o'clock spawn are symmetric, perfectly symmetric. So if you want a good competitive match, it would be these two. Although there might be some fun in having a 2-on-1 against the castle. Or 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus the castle, in which case the two players across the stream can attack each other, but if they beat each other up too much, then blue team with its big amount of pieces can just stomp them back, right? Although, if both sides of spawn work together, because, you know, either they're assigned to the same team, or so they'd be both gold or both silver, or both blue, and the castle would be some other color. I need to really fix a team number or a team color issue. Anyway, then they would have more pieces. They'd have 4 bishops extra and 2 extra rooks. Same number of knights, same number, a little bit less pawns. Blue would have 2 extra pawns, but it also have 1 extra queen, which would be a big advantage. So 2 fewer pawns, 2 extra rooks, 4 extra bishops, 1 extra queen. So if they ganged up on the castle, they have defender's advantage, but yeah. But then they'd have to go around the level to pick all that stuff up. If they all go to one side of the level, then, blue can just send a detachment out and go and pick some stuff off. Even if it's just a king. Now, what will they send? It depends. It's their choice. Anyway, back to Blender. Don't know if we're gonna get it done today, but down. So I need to modify this. Okay. So subdivide 2. Oops. That wasn't right at all. So then we gotta just keep going jagged like this. Have I tried Cinema 4D? No, I have not. I went from Maya to Blender. Don't know why I did that. That's what I want to do. So why just about Cinema 4D? I know it's very popular, of course. Looking at pricing on Mass in the 40 and Lightwave. Lightwave looks very dated. Last used on Amiga. Okay. Yeah. Personally, I've just... So, what happened was when I left university, well, when I finished university, I looked at the price of Maya to upgrade. It was like $3,000, or actually no, I think I could get a reduction of like 1,000 or like 1,000 or whatever it was at that point. And I look at that and I'm like, that's a lot of money, especially for someone with a student loan, which I paid off in like 2 years, but still. And I was like, I can, and now you can get subscriptions for that as well. So it's like $20 a month for Maya. Unless you need a renderer, in which case it's like, I think, let's see what the price is. I think it's $200 a month, isn't it? Or was it like 100? My Autodesk. Canadian to $240 a month. Okay. So like $2,000 a year. So I looked at that and I'm like, how much is my time worth? How much would it cost me if I, build myself that whatever, to learn Blender, right? So I just gave myself tasks to learn Blender, and then I learned Blender, and now I know Blender, and that will always be free. And I actually know Blender well enough that I would probably not pay for Maya. I probably, even if someone probably gave me a free copy of Maya, like a free year or whatever of Maya, I would still probably use Blender. Unless I need to use Maya for some specific workflow. Like, for example, I have to integrate with someone who's already animating in Maya, and I don't want to use FBX and have all that translation headache. They just want to keep using that, and I'll be like, okay, well, sure, I'll use Maya to help you out, but for my own personal stuff, I'd use Blender. Cinema 4D is $50, $60 a month. Cinema 4D also has a lot of fans. I think Adobe really likes that one. I think it's Cinema 4D. Yeah, it is, yeah. And that one is designed to be pretty easy for, especially for people who do, people who use Adobe Suite. So people who do like illustrations and After Effects and things like that, be a bit more into that workflow. So I set up Steam by following directions on my own. So you're asking about Steam integration from Unreal Engine 4. I do not have Steam integrated in my game yet. The reason why is because this game that I'm working on, check it. The game called Check It is entirely built on Stream. As far as I know, I could be wrong, Steam requires NDA, so there would be some component of the Steamworks integration that I could not do on Stream. So the idea of this is that I develop it on Stream for, however long. And when it's done, for a proof of concept demo, I release it, then I can start developing offline. My idea at that point is to wait until that happens and then put Steam integration in. So currently it's just connect by IP. So C++ and Blueprint. If you mean the game itself, I use C++. If you mean anything to do with Steam, like I said, I haven't added it yet. I have to wait until I do the offline thing. Then I'll go and sign up with Steam and get Steamworks API hooked up, and then add Steam integration so you can use Steam players for online sessions. But for the actual game itself, C++ as much as possible. There are some things you kind of need to do in Blueprints, mostly UI stuff, although I'm probably going to be ripping that out as soon as I take it off. Having trouble finding info on the Unreal build tool, you mean for Steam itself, or like to add Steam as a module, or are you looking for something like just in general Unreal build tool? Because when it comes to Steamworks integration, I can't remember if it's Michael Aller or if it's Rama that did the Steamworks API. Rama. Okay. Everything is everywhere, yeah. So this is kind of old, apparently. I thought Michael Aller. Oh, okay. So I guess they both did it. Okay. So here is Aller's blog from a little over a year ago. Yeah. Yeah. So, apparently there's some stuff here as well. Okay. So yeah, I don't have any Steam integration yet. It's one of the things I really want though, because connecting by IP is pretty bad. Pretty bad user experience when you have Steam. I mean, connecting by IP has some advantage, especially if Steam goes down. Like, especially forever, if, you know, Valve goes under or whatever. Having connect by IP functionality would be beneficial. And then we're building the Junker Castle to go above this. Here. No problem. So I've been trying to avoid having voxels that are not axis aligned. As you can see here, my point was to hopefully have only this one be non-axis aligned, to have it be something that's unique about the level, like just kind of, you know, stands out. Whereas everything else would be axis aligned. I could do the balcony as well, but if I could also just, you know, cut it in. Cool. Best of luck to you when it's Steam integration. Yeah. Something I have to do at some point too, but just can't do it on stream. I don't think. Maybe the NDA doesn't, you know, doesn't prevent that or whatever. Doesn't prevent that, I should say. Accidentally had prevent and permit. Try to say at the same time. What's my game about? Okay, I'll show you here. So if you look here, you'll see that this is basically chess. There is some differences though. Some significant differences. So here's a chessboard. Move the pawn forward. I'll only move one space though. Then move the queen out. I can move my pawn forward, back, left, or right. So let's move it left for now. You can also eat on any diagonal. Then if I move this here, this here, I gotta get out of there because it can eat. Because the pawns can eat on any diagonal, including backwards. So if I move here, the pawn could eat backwards and eat me, or just, you know, the bishop too. But yeah. Let's evacuate there. Okay. Okay. PS4 HF game, but the matchmaking is horrible. Yeah. So there is some differences, and the reason why there's differences is because some levels, actually every level besides chessboard that I plan, is not an 8x8 grid. So here's one that you saw me work on a couple seconds ago. That is 64 by 64. So in this case, all of the you know, you're stuck by the king range, which doesn't cover the entire level in this case. So in order to get more units, you have to move your king in range of them, and then it's part of your army. However, the bigger army you have, the slower it's going to move because you have more pieces to move, and you only have one move per turn, right? So you can move the king forward, and then the other two spawns. One spawn is so this is 6 o'clock, and there's more pieces around the level. This is 3 o'clock spawn, which is assigned to Team 2 at the moment. You can assign it however you want. And that's symmetric, so they have the knights as well. And then they also have bishops here, and if you keep looking across the map, they have to pass by you, but if they do, they can access 2 pawns and 2 rooks. And then there's a third player in this. Yep, I made this. Then there's a third spawn up here, which has a lot of units accessible to it. And we're currently making the castle thing here, so you can kind of look in and see a bit of a castle. Has a lot of units, but there's nothing around the level for it. So it can only really... It has access to everything in the front door of its castle, and 2 kings and a queen. But if you sum up all of the other pieces in the level for the other 2 spawns, they have more. So if this player wants to take it seriously, they'd have to wait until the other team moves out, and they would send a king as a detachment to go and pick off other pieces around the level to make them, or a king and a queen or whatever they choose, king and a knight or whatever, to pick off other pieces as a detachment, which means they're gonna have a weaker front door because there's part of the army gone. But if they pick off a bunch of other pieces, then they'll have an easier fight later, right? So they have that decision to make. Do they just want, clog the front door and make sure no one can get in and hope for the best and have a good tactical standing? Or do they want to go around and start, being where they aren't and start making late game easier? That's their choice. And it also depends on what the other team does. If the other team says, screw the bishops, I'm going straight to the castle, and blue team left the castle to get an attachment, then they lose their advantage, defender's advantage, right? Because they're no longer in a defending place. They're somewhere else in the map. So there is that kind of logistic, tactical feel to it. And I'm also playing at some point as well, having some, special moves, like, let's say you go to a part of a level that's, a special tile, and you pick up and it gives you a card. You can then play a power-up on, let's say, a knight, and the knight would have a gallop special ability, which would hit, pieces, and then those pieces would fly as physics actors, and if they hit anything, they'll kill it too. So you can end up having even possibly friendly fire, where the knight hits the piece flies off, and you have it do like bowling and get like 2 or 3 pieces extra, just based on luck from the physics engine. Well, luck from the physics engine, simulation of physics engine. So that is kind of the concept of it. So many flash issues, yeah. So there's a couple things like that I plan as well. I'm hoping at some point I'll get VR equipment in, so I'll be able to, after I do the proof of concept demo and release it, which is, I'm planning for a free itch.io, probably in the next like a month or 2. Depending on some logistics. Scorched Earth, nice. So when I release the demo, if I can justify the money to buy a VR headset, then I'm planning on dropping back, like, imagine you are not just a camera that's kind of associated with a tile, you're able to actually, like, hover around and, teleport across the map, looking over it like as if it was like a model, like a big board game you're kind of hovering over. And then you pick up the pieces and move them, or you have the power-ups in like a tablet on your hand or something like that. Think like the Red Alert 2 VR demo that you see for on YouTube every once in a while. So that's kind of the idea behind it. One of the problems, though, is that I wasn't planning that originally, so this map in particular has about 10,000 draw calls, actually probably a bit more now that I have decorations in it. So now I need to consider what will happen if VR can see the entire world, right? So I have to reduce the draw call substantially, which means probably taking the tiles and breaking them down to chunks, and then giving them a material instance that can give the hover and the eat state and all that sort of stuff the out of range state. Oops, I'm on the 3 o'clock spawn. I thought it was a 6 o'clock spawn. Give all that state here to make the effect look the same, but have like a group of like 8x8 tiles all be drawn together, so that would save performance, right? Because it stands right now, I have like over 100 frames per second. When we are looking at the shipping build, it's like 150 frames per second, 130, 150 frames per second. Yeah. But if you see the entire level, that drops down to like 30 or 20, which is too little for VR. On a GTX 1080. Like, that's a lot of, and you know, that. And one thing I'm kind of proud of, as well as the little waterfall I made. So the idea is that every level is kind of a plate that kind of descends from the roof, from the you know, above into this little like hollow decky place, and it's like just the world was cut along the plate line. So for humor's sake, I made it like the as if the water voxels were like wanting to flow off the river, right? So it's a cheap little effect. Actually, I plan to have the weather vane over here rotate around the level as if wind is blowing it, and then have that wind, like the direction of the arrow, add a physics force to each of the fountains and the waterfalls. So if you see them, it looks like it's blowing in that direction, and that'll change over time. Just a small little effect, but you know, to make it look kind of cool. So if you keep moving over this way, you'll eventually get in range of the knight. So if you move one more, then the king range will be in range of the knight. And now I can select this one knight and move it, but I can't select this one. Let's move here. Let's move the king forward a bit more. Now I can select both knights and move them. And if you have two kings like the blue spawn does, I'm going to let people choose whatever color they want in a bit. It's currently numbered, but I'll just make it by color. If you have two kings, then you'll have two control ranges, so if you separate them, you can actually move pieces between them, and then move off a detachment. That's kind of the idea behind it. There's also another level here called King's Court, where we have up to 8 spawns, and we're gonna let's actually do it this way. So I'm gonna make I'm gonna control 2 spawns. I'm gonna give the AI other spawns. So this will be team 2, this will be team 3, this will be team 4, and I realize I can make default, so I don't have to click all these each time, but you know, it's a placeholder UI. As a matter of fact, I'm planning at some point to replace this entirely once it's offline and I can start doing solid development on it. Replace it with an actual 3D UI. Instead of using UMG, actually have 3D objects draw whatever you need. So when we go into a game like this, you see the various pieces here, and when the countdown stops, it's going to assign them to the 4 teams, not 8 this time. So each team has a center and a corner. So I'm going to move the center up here. And the gimmick of this map is that every 10 full rotations, a ring of the level explodes and disappears. So if you have a piece there, you're dead. So it forces everyone to kind of slowly go towards the center, which should make it a bit more fun. So whoever controls center early is in a good position. However, then everyone else is going to try to trade with them to make them, get positioned in the center. Silver's gonna have a bad time. Yeah, there we are. And that was one ring gone. Now Silver only has one king. Red has 2 kings. And Blue is still full strength. But they don't have center, so I can just keep them out and they'll just die eventually. So that's kind of the idea of the game. Blue's gonna have a really bad time very soon. I thought I was gonna die. Maybe it still has one more. Alright, lost count. We gotta threaten Blue to make it back up or trade, because I want these 3 pieces to stay. No, so I gotta lose 2. Oh. I really lost count then. There we are. Now it's 2 blue versus 1 silver. So I basically won. There's no way they can actually get in now. Cool. Best of luck, Chris Goku 2. Oh, by the way, so I say hi, welcome to the chat and so forth, but I try not to say people by name, because I don't know if they're lurking, if I don't want to, bug people who just want to have a, calm, pleasant stream, right? And then they will all die because they're on the other ring. Whenever that happens. Mir, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? There we are. Module thing, can't figure out how to build to a library. Where's that? What do you mean build to a library? All you do is you go into a C# file. 1 second. So at various places in the game, there's various C# files. Let's open with Notepad. Why not? Yeah, you don't have Unreal build tool C++ file. Like, why would you want to modify build tool? That's in the engine. All you have to do is you have to build, modify the C#, so whatever .target.cs, and add whatever module you need. In this case, checkit.build.cs here. Then you'd be able to, add whatever you need here. Yeah. So when you use, like, you're not modifying the build tool, you're modifying the C# files the build tool looks at to generate the code you need. There is no build tool C++ file. Let's see what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about. That file? Yeah, the file I opened was checkitbuild.cs. Here. I don't remember exactly how I do it because I did a plugin a while ago that was for DLL to link OpenCL actually into Unreal Engine, but that was, yeah. Module rules can't find it. That one I don't know. Probably want to ask on Discord, Unreal Engine 4. Don't know what you're saying. Like, if you just have the C# file in the various source elements of your, source folders. Not in this one actually, but in the project in the source directory here, then it should just see it. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe your C# file's in the wrong folder. I don't know really what your. This is something I don't usually do that often. When I do, I usually have like a tutorial beside me or example code beside me. Because something you usually do like once, and then you don't need to touch it again for several months. Then when you come back, just like, okay, so what did I do again, right? That kind of thing. It's not something you do over and over and over again. You set it up once and it works. Yeah. Sorry I wasn't able to help you a bit more on that, but yeah. Okay. I think it would look good for this. Okay, I think I figured something out. Yeah, okay. Object mode, add mesh cube, 1 meter, 1 meter, 1 meter. We're gonna go into edit mode here. Select a vertex here. There we are. Now we're going to move up 1 meter, I guess. Let's do 2 meters, sure. 5 meters. Okay. So now we're gonna go here. We're gonna extrude this up to here. We're gonna extrude this up to here. Extrude it again up to there. We're gonna decimate this at some point, don't worry about that. then extrude out 1 meter, then extrude at 1 meter. Just go back. Go back, -1 meter. Extrude again to there. Again to there. So now we have that. We're going to add railing poles underneath there. Actually, for that matter, we can just do there. Let's do 1 meter. Let's extrude out there. Which I could have just done an edge loop, but you know.
Ripped up sheets of paper, laying right next to her, prayed for something better to come along and save her, save her, save her. All she needs is
Then I could add some smaller spokes in here. If I wanted to, I can just leave it like that too.
someone to hold on.
Like the bridge. That could work. I think it's gonna be good for now. We're gonna do save as decoration, balcony. There we are. So that will go. Right there. And the way the material is set up too is that all this voxel stuff is just world relative materials. I don't actually need to draw that in the material, it just automatically pops in based on axis alignment. I later actually created another shader, that one in Unity, that did this, but wasn't required to be on any given plane. It could just be on arbitrary planes. The catch is that if you have an arbitrary plane, you're gonna get a scene because you can't tell when it's gonna start or stop. You can do some offsets if you want to, but you can't. Well, I mean, it's impossible to make, you know, let's say this here line up with a certain number of you know, like let's say 5 meters. Well, this one here, if you go 1 meter per cube, it's gonna be slightly longer to if it hits there. So you can't, you just mathematically can't unless you happen to line up perfectly with like a 3, 4, 5 triangle or something. Arbitrary. Arbitrary means any old, like it, like so you can have a plane in this case that is Z up, X up, or Y up. Those are 3 possible directions. An arbitrary plane could be one that could be any possible direction, any arbitrary direction. There is no, like, any possible direction is what it could be. There's no, like, specific states of it. What's another good example of that? It's not so much as random as much as it is any possible, right? It's not like you're restricting your possibilities to easy conditions. You can choose. You can accept any possible condition, right? It's maybe not the best way to describe it, but yeah. Let's actually look at the actual dictionary definition, because I'm actually probably heading out soon. Based on random choice or personal whim rather than any reason or system. Unrestrained or autocratic and using authority. Okay, mathematics. Of unspecified value. That's probably the best one here. So, you don't specify the value beforehand. It can accept any possible value. So, like, for any arbitrary value of x, doesn't have to be x is an integer, x is, a decimal, could be an imaginary number. You get the idea, right? Yeah, so, yeah. Sorry if I didn't have the best explanation, but yeah. Okay, so I think that'll be good to add right here in this little opening right here. So they come up, there'll be a roof and a balcony here. You can probably still see the king and the queen, even though you may want to zoom in a little bit. My plan is that for objects that end up being a roof, I'll make it cut off so that way if the pawn gets too close, they'll fade out or disappear or whatever. So you don't have to, you don't have to be stuck trying to maneuver the camera around it. My original plan was, or my previous plan was to have the camera modify itself so it wouldn't rotate in certain directions or pull in so you could see through the roof. Maybe I should just not let the roof, just have the roof disappear, right? That might be a better option. So let's play around with that. That's the plan. And that'll be the demo. Maybe I'll then come up with a better idea after I release the demo, but for now it's probably just going to be a disappearing roof. And over here we're going to have a cathedral, because haha, bishops. This one's kind of concerning me a little bit. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it, but if we have the disappearing roof, it shouldn't be as hard as it could be. Okay, and that is our level. And once again, haha, waterfalls. I love these things. Have you noticed? Just little physics boxes that fall for a little bit then come back. Yeah, so part of the waterfalls, that's right, Mirror. Alright, so I was killing a bit of time there, but yeah, I think that's good for today. So I'm gonna say thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Oh, by the way, if you're new here, we tend to stream, we try to stream, and we've been successful for the last like 8 months. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, around 9 to 9:30 start time, around 11 p.m. end time. That tends to be our schedule, so we're gonna, until the demo, and then we're gonna see what happens there. Or if something else comes up. Anyway, so thanks for watching, and see you next time. Right, Eastern time zone.